your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim, Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Question number 4. In the camp activity example, it states that you are here for what? A. To experience the activities of your choice. Or B. To get something done that needs to be done. Well, I think I gave it away again. But the answer is definitely B. To get something done. No, I'm just kidding. No, the answer is definitely A. To experience the activities of your choice. Now, if you think about it, if you were planning out what kind of a life you would have when you got here, what kind of a body you would be using, what kind of experiences you'd be having, obviously when you got here, you're going to gravitate to those kinds of activities, those kinds of experiences, whatever they may be. When you're here, you choose the activities of your choice because it's all just energy. At the end of your experience, at your point B, when you transform back into energy, and you go back into the non-physical, the only thing you take with you is your experience. That's it. So, B, get something done. There's nothing that needs to be done. This is like a fantasy island. There could be, if you're into fixing disasters or environmental problems or whatever those things may be, if you were on Fantasy Island, when you arrived, there would be some giant problem, some, huge problem that needed to be solved, and you'd be spending your time figuring out how to do it and solving it and all that kind of thing because you're enjoying the experience. Because the moment you left Fantasy Island, this big problem would no longer exist. It would just vanish. So, all the activities, whatever they may be it the environmental problems, war, raising a family, being in politics, farming, or fishing, or whatever it is, they're all just experiences. Now, the neat thing about it is that if you don't have an experience, if there's not an experience here that's what you're looking to do, you can create your own experience. You can do something different that nobody else has ever done. It's completely up to you. But it's simply camp activities. Because all you're doing is manipulating energy that happens to be formed in a certain kind of way for the moment. And it doesn't matter whether you do it or you don't do it. It doesn't matter whether you help somebody that's starving or you don't. Because if they got it coming to them, then somebody's going to help them, whether it's you or not. If they don't have it coming to them, you can't help them, and neither can anybody else. That's just the way it is. So do whatever you're doing, whatever you're going to do it because you enjoy doing it. Not because it needs to be done. Not because it's something serious. There's nothing serious. Okay? Now, people worry about all these world problems. Well, let me tell you what. We're going to cover this a lot more later. But worry creates it. The more you worry about world hunger, the more you create it. The more you worry about environmental issues, the more you create it. Worry creates. Worry gives attention to. Complain about the war, you're creating the war. Complain about the environmental things, you're creating them. Complain about world hunger, you're creating it. If you really want to do something, don't worry about it and don't complain about it, because both of those activities create the problem, quote unquote. If you want to do something, and only because you enjoy it, not because it has to be done. If people stopped worrying about that stuff, it would just go away on its own. But if you really want to do something about it because you enjoy it, the answer is solve it. Don't complain about what is. Think about solving it. Have your attention on the solution, because as you think about the solution, you create it. As you think about the opportunities, you create them. As you think about the problems, you create them. So if you really want to do something, don't worry about it and don't complain about it. Think about the solution. Think about the options. Think about the opportunities. As you give thought to that angle, that aspect, you create that aspect. You form those opportunities. Okay. The answer is absolutely A. The concept of immersion can be best described as the complete and utter focus on your physical experience to the exclusion of all else. It's not B. It's not remembering your non-physical abilities and history from before your birth. You've had countless lives, probably thousands of lives. That would be like Sylvester Stallone being in a movie, say Rocky or Rambo or something, and remembering lines and information and aspects of a part he played in some other movie. It's irrelevant. It's not important. He doesn't need to do that. You know, you've had many lives as both a woman and a man. So let's say you're a man this time. What advantage, what use would it be to remember your life as a woman? Or if you're a woman this time, what use would it be to remember your life as a man? It's irrelevant. It's a past experience. All your past lives, all your non-physical abilities and all that, you don't remember them. That's immersion. You're completely focused on this part to the exclusion of everything else. And you know what? That's a perfect way to do it. That's a perfect system. You are living this life, this time, and you are totally focused on only this life, this time. Already, you probably complain about how you don't have enough time and you don't have enough attention to pay attention to all the things that are involved in your life. Think about all the things that are going on in your life right now, right? Your work, your family, your hobbies, whatever. Can you imagine taking all of that and then multiplying that by 1,000? Your work and your family and your hobbies from 1,000 other lives you've lived? No. That's no good. No. Immersion is simply the total and absolute focus on this experience, with the exclusion, you excluding everything that does not apply, that is not relevant. That's like a guy playing in a Wild West movie. When he's in the Wild West movie, he doesn't know anything about cell phones. He doesn't know anything about jet airplanes, because it doesn't belong with that experience. He arrives in that part playing that experience, knowing about horses and wagons and stagecoaches and rifles and whatever else, because that's what's relevant. Okay?
That was the end of chapter number 2. To continue, Go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 3, the first segment, number 1. Let your quest for knowing continue.